Hmm. Yes.
Is that you?
That's cute. Right, he ain't on video. Okay. Is I'm on mute now?
Hi, Joe. Your mic's not on, Joe.
There it is.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm good, Joe. And yourself?
I'm doing fine. Been out pressure washing the deck all day with my wife.
Okay.
Yeah,
What you using for a solution?
just water. I got that early correct deck material when it first came out the first 3 or 4 years, and you just put about 3,000 pounds of cold water on it. It comes right off.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Good.
I don't like putting too much for chemicals on it because we've had it long enough now. I'm afraid I'll really eat into it.
Okay. I'll check it out when I go by in the morning.
Oh, it looks like it's brand new. You'll think it's up for sale.
Okay. All right. Did you get to watch Grant?
I've watched the first 2 episodes. I'm wondering how closely does it follow your book?
Well, I stopped halfway or 3/4 way through the second episode.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to finish the book before I finished, before I saw it, the rest of it, because then I wouldn't finish the book.
I hear you.
The book goes into a lot more details.
I imagine it does. Yeah. Yeah.
And I found it very interesting.
I'm sure the book probably is, like you say, is a lot deeper and everything, but the actual miniseries, I mean, I'm learning a lot about him. It's a little bit different than what I thought of him.
Yeah, I'll agree. It just, he loved to do the strategic
Yeah.
battle line maneuverings.
Yeah. You reminded me a lot of General Patton.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't read too much about General Patton.
Oh, he was the same way. Although he wasn't, they were different personalities. I mean, Patton was very egotistical. I don't sense that in Grant.
No, Grant was always easygoing.
Mhm.
Easygoing, particularly with his troops. I thought that the movie, the series portrayed him a little bit harsher than what the book did.
Oh, okay.
The book portrayed him as a very humble person.
Mhm.
And he was, when he was down in the South, because when Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, that freed all the slaves. And so then they started following the armies. And so
Oh, yeah.
he set up organizations to help them adjust. And
Right.
Lincoln was really impressed with all the work he had done. And
Yeah,
then,
I think he was really one of the first generals that Lincoln had that would actually get results for him.
yeah, and I think he was the one that formed the Black Army.
Yeah. Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. He just said, these are good men. The Union needs men. Let's train them and put them to work. And they were there. They were willing.
Very interesting.
I see you brought in your plants last night.
Yeah, good. It was 29 down here.
Oh.
We had ice everywhere down here. I wouldn't have done it because the news didn't really say it was going to get that cold, but Valerie had a hunch, so she went out there and she put them all in the garage.
Well, when I went out this morning, must have been shortly before 5, I was panicking a little bit, and I got all my buckets out and covered them up because there was white on the roof.
Oh yeah, there was plenty of frost in the neighborhood here too. Yeah, kind of surprising.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think I'll do the same thing tonight.
Yep, Val's doing the same thing. Are we the only ones on here, Rose?
I don't know.
You guys are here. Keith, are you
I'm
present?
on.
There you are. And Tarsha, you're present?
I'm here.
Yep, that would be.
I'm here, Mary Allen.
Mary, are you on the fire tablet?
Yes.
Okay, let me rename you quick. Thank you for letting me know. Any other budget committee members here? Not yet. I will keep monitoring the room and letting people in as people start to request. So Keith, I believe we have everything we need if you want to call. the
Are we
meeting
ready
to order.
to open?
I'm ready.
Okay, call to order. We will do the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag.
to the flag of the United States.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
One nation.
under God, indivisible,
Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are all of the counselors on?
I'm here, Keith.
Rose here.
Is Tasha?
I'm here. Yep.
Okay. Then we will take up 4.1, the minutes of April 24th and May 4th.
I make a motion to pass the minutes as read.
I'll second it. Any
Yeah.
discussion?
Not for me.
All in favor?
John Emery,
Yes.
Keith Bennett,
Yes.
Harsha Downing,
Yes.
Rose Aikman.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, who seconded that? Was that Keith?
Keith did, yes.
Yes.
When we get to department reports 4.2, I'd like to just make a couple of statements. We want to make sure that the notice goes out that we are flushing the water department lines on the week of June 15th. And they will be getting through it as quick as possible. So I can't break it down any further when it comes to what section of town during what day. But they're trying to give us that window. If you do have any questions, you can call the water department and kind of see where they are and where you may be in the line. The second update I'd like to give is the library. We did open for the first time today. We've got plexiglass up. So the library has some new temporary policies in place just until things get opened up a little bit more. They're only letting 5 people in at a time. They ask if people can to wear a mask, return the books in the book slot down below. We'll put those into a quarantine process before they get recirculated. Practice social distancing. We've removed the toys and we've limited some of the computer access, and we're asking people not to come in and play games on the computer, but allow people to come in and use them to get connectivity and not to linger more than 30 minutes. If we are only letting a few people in, they can wait outside or in the stairway, and Nancy will be running that process. Outside of that, we can entertain a motion for department reports.
I'll make a motion to accept the department reports.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
John Emery,
Yes.
Keith Bennett,
Yes.
Tarsha Downing,
Yes.
Buzz Aikman.
Yes.
The next item is the municipal budget.
If you want to call the public hearing to order, anybody online
Okay.
through Zoom, raise your hand or request otherwise to be unmuted. Anybody have any comments? Alan, thanks for helping. Do you see any hands up either?
I don't right now.
Okay, Fred, is that you waving?
Yeah, sorry, I leaned back in the chair. All right.
There you are.
Is this the place to be asking a few questions?
Yep.
Have you heard anything from the Maine Municipal Association as to what the potential cuts in revenue sharing are going to be for the next fiscal year?
We have seen nothing concrete. What we have heard is there's a couple opportunities that would be unfortunate if they do happen that has been shared with us. A potential when it comes to the state trying to rectify their budget would be a reduction in revenue sharing, which is a possibility. We were slated to go from 2.5% to 3%. There's also a potential that they could reduce the homestead reimbursement rate. We were again supposed to go up in our homestead reimbursement rate. Most of these things would all really need to wouldn't happen until the legislature reconvenes. They are starting to gather with some committees, and I'm hoping that at some point in time, when they come up with a plan and see how they may utilize the bailout funds that the state received, the 1.25 billion, and if that may help them rectify their budget, or if they are going to make some changes to what our expectations would be, we would have to revisit that.
Okay, so currently we get about 250,000 in revenue sharing and about what, 175,000, 178 in homestead exemptions?
I believe so.
You know, give or take, a couple thousand.
Yep.
Because I thought that was what I saw on the list.
So this is our most recent revenue as of last Friday, I believe. So we're looking at state revenue. We're at 240,000 currently, and the other one was homestead, correct? Homestead
So
reimbursement.
we got about 12.7 left to go on the revenue sharing, right? And
Yeah, from budgeted expectations, correct.
okay, do you think they'll come through with those numbers? There's the 12, so that's about what, 45,000, 46,000? That needs to kind of come in before the end of June, the end of this month?
Correct, for us to kind of land where we would be. Lisa, do you have any idea on the homestead timeframe for the final payment?
The homestead never comes in before June 30th. We probably won't see that until July or early August, but it will be posted back to this year.
Okay. Now,
do-
what happens to the surplus in the accounts? Does that get transferred over to the general fund?
At the close of the fiscal year, yes. Any surplus in revenues above and beyond will drop to the general fund, and that will go essentially into the bank account for next year's budget process, unless we
Okay.
do an emergency appropriation. So what we do have, because there are potentials, and yes, there's a possibility that we will have to, everyone's talking about revenue sharing reductions right now. That is a concern that we do have. There's also, again, the potential change to the homestead if the legislature chooses to modify the homestead reimbursement, both of which have been in the biennial budget slated to go up for municipalities across the board. We are not as susceptible to revenue sharing because of the small amount that we get compared to our budget. What we can say currently is financial totals for the year, we are only $2,000 off from our revenue expectations for this year. And when it comes to the next fiscal year, and what I'm hoping is going to be once the legislature gets back to work and they figure out how they want to mitigate what they have for shortfalls and how that may carry down onto the municipalities, we do have within the charter baked into it the opportunity for emergency appropriations and emergency reductions. So once we get into the new fiscal year, at any point in time, it looks like we're going to see a reduction in revenues, or if the legislature makes a decision, or if the governor signs something that is going to drastically impact our budget, we will report that right back to the council, and the council can either look at emergency appropriations of potential overages in funds from this fiscal year, or we would look at reductions and whether that's furloughs or cutting of other expenses once we know what that shortfall may be.
Okay, just a couple more questions, please. You haven't heard anything from MMA, whether there be a special session of the legislature to look at some of these issues, to how to handle some of how the state's going to handle some of their revenue shortfalls. And I guess I'm trying to project ahead, and so that as things unfold, that there is enough money for us to make it through this year without a tax increase, or without, I don't want to go to the taxpayers.
Correct. So in the budget that we're presenting is a reduction from last year. And without consideration of the school budget, it would be a reduction, especially knowing that we've got some new valuation coming on that we've been working on trying to get a better grasp on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know yet. I know the committees have started this week, I believe, to really start in Augusta again. And the only thing I've really been told from MMA is those two kind of hazards to look out for: reduction in revenue sharing or reduction in homestead compensation, because those were slated to be increases for us. So those may be the easy ones to be on the chopping block. What we do have an opportunity, we had tax acquired property sales last year came in at 82,000. We budget 0 because we don't budget for sale of tax acquired properties because we don't know if we're going to have them. So we do have an extra 82 in revenue this fiscal year coming in that will be going to our bottom line. And again, if we maintain the opportunities, as always, to reduce expenditures as soon as we know something's going to happen, or the emergency appropriation, if it's fitting, I think we could cover most of what we've been told to anticipate for revenue sharing losses.
Okay. Thank you, Zach.
Thank you, Rose. Anyone else on there? Alan, I don't see the hand raising tab. Can you see that?
No, but I'm going to switch over to my laptop, so I'll take a look better on that.
And there's nobody on the phone. I believe we do have the ability to unmute ourselves. So if there's any questions for this, speak up, or we can close the public hearing. Keith, I'll defer that to you to make that final call.
Well, if you have no one that's trying to get in, I guess we'll move on to 7.1.
We want to make sure we get, 6 comments from the public. So we can close the public hearing and jump to general comments from the public if we want to do that.
Oh, yes, right.
Open.
Right.
Same process. If anybody from the public wants to either raise their hand in video or through the little button. I got more people. Oh, hold on. I see one here. Planning board number 2 has their hand up. And if you want to, I'm not positive who that is, but if you want to unmute yourself.
It's Paula Stotts, 87 Standpipe Road in Mechanic Falls.
Hey, Paula.
Since the governor has lifted or raised the amount of people that are allowed to be in a meeting, is there any chance we might be able to have the planning board meeting next week, at least with the planning board members together in the chamber instead of over Zoom, and just do the rest of it over Zoom?
What we have been working out today, and I don't want to speak over our CEO either, is right now we don't have the opportunity to do a hybrid system without causing feedback within the system. And I know especially for allowing extra people in, but knowing that we have people from away, essentially some of the presenters and applicants are not in state currently. I'm not optimistic,
Okay,
but we have until Wednesday to figure that out.
just trying to be optimistic and positive.
Thank you.
Oh.
Any other comments from the public? Chair, seeing none, do you want to move to old business 7.1?
Yes.
I have spoken with the realtor last week. There was one showing on the building. I'm not positive. He wasn't optimistic it's going to turn into anything. He did mention that there are some condition issues we may look at the building, specifically the handrail on the front that is wobbly that may need to be repaired, and that back door kind of rust and aesthetic stuff. These are all things that were present when we bought it. We have not put any work into the building yet, but those were things that he did mention. And that was the only conversation about 22 Pleasant right yet.
What is the price of that? What's that listed at right now, Zach? I know
I
you.
believe we are listed at $550.
And how much do we have into it?
About $389.
That's with buying the other lot?
Yes. I know that the realtor has had some conflicts on Monday nights, but I can reach out to and see if there's a way that we can bring him back in for another conversation if you would like.
No, I was just curious. When is his contract up? Is that in August? I think you mentioned it.
August or September, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Zachary,
Yes, sir.
these minor maintenance issues that you're bringing up that we might want to address, is that something that our own Public Works Department could address and take care of?
Yes, potentially. I mean, we've been maintaining it, mowing it, keeping it clean. We may be able to use a little, I'd have to look at the railing again and see what they think. We can look into it. And we do have our building maintenance CIP that we could use, and would obviously track any of that towards what we have into the building, but we do have that ability.
Thank you, Zach.
Anything else on 22? Chair, if you're okay, can we move to 7.2 council topics?
Yes. I have a comment that I wanted to make. If I would like to look into finding how much it would take to have that hybrid meeting that you were talking about.
Yep. And we can start trial running that a little bit better, because I know that we have had really good exposure online between the live streaming of the meetings. We've had close to 70 people watching them, as well as the people being able to get in who aren't able to come in or don't regularly come in. But we do miss the regulars who used to show up in person. So I can look at what we can do between Zoom and the live video camera and make sure that we can get everybody on the way we need to, and make sure that everybody in the room can hear the people online and vice versa.
Are we going to be able to go back to a regular meeting next month?
I hope so. The 6 foot distancing, I think, is really the hard part. And the requirements, and what it does is it puts us still in the role of enforcing people when they come onto our premises to either wear masks and abide by all the governor's dictums. And it puts staff as well in a difficult position to have to enforce those. And what we don't want to get to either is a situation where we either hit capacity or we can't let other people in, and then we have a unequal access. So I think if we get a better system in place, so that we know that we have kind of equal access for people, for the people in the room as well as the people who are kind of logging in remotely, I think that would be definitely something to strive for, because we can and we are getting more people to be involved and to participate. I want to definitely be able to maintain that.
Yeah. What would setting up in the gym help, or how would that work?
We can, especially for something like that, it would be much easier. We do have to maintain the distancing. And again, it's that 6-foot distancing within the room and spreading everybody out and getting everybody on camera. The sound downstairs is difficult to manage. With the PA, it would work easier now, but it would also make it a little bit more difficult just to hybridize the system, to be able to play the sound off from the people online communicating to us that wouldn't get picked up and reverberate back. But it is something that we can work at. And
Here's just a thought.
Go ahead.
Zach, this is just a thought about that. It just came to me. Is there any way that perhaps we could use the gymnasium as an overflow room for the public and the council could still meet in council chambers? Is there enough room for that? Because there's an awful echo problem down there.
correct. But getting people downstairs to be able to have input and be able to speak would still be running a camera and microphone system upstairs, which can potentially exacerbate. If there were 3 more of me to run the meetings, to run the cameras, to run the Zoom, and to participate in the meeting, it would be easier. But I don't know that you all want 3 more of me.
Is there any way that we could figure out having some other help with that situation?
Yes, we can, and we can look at the system, and I believe that I can rope in some existing employees too to kind of help iron some of these things out. And I am getting help currently between Julie and Alan to be able to maintain these meetings themselves and still allow me to have my head up enough to participate. So we could look into expanding that, and maybe in a week or so have a better idea. We can trial run some and make sure that we can get that to work.
Does the governor have any more rules to be lifted about meeting? I don't know what's happening, say, the 1st of July.
I believe they are. They're being modified a little bit now, especially for Androscoggin. I've had to stop guessing.
Yeah, okay. I just really would like to see us be able to meet in a group without Zoom. Yeah, I'd like that. I'd like us to work on that.
Absolutely.
Any other topics? Then I guess the before and after lease is the next item.
Yes, so this was tabled from last month, and I do apologize. It was my and what I pulled for the last meeting was an older version of the lease. So we've corrected that. I shared with the council the past leases as well as the new version, which replicates last year's language. So that is what's on the table before us.
I move that we accept the lease agreement.
I second that. Tasha's got it.
I see that discussion, Keith. Okay.
Yes, discussion.
I see that the electric bill was added from September through May, and that settles my concerns. I'm good to go with that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All in favor?
John Emery,
Yes.
Keith Bennett,
Yes.
Tarsha Downing,
Yes.
Rose Aikman.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now, the next item is tax relief.
Yes, so, in one of the
Information.
governor's executive orders, she passed a pardon for the municipalities, of which we were a few, who made motions to move tax dates or to waive interest. And she actually set it up in a manner that would retroactively allow municipalities that have already done that. So we have already done that. We tried to quantify what that change would be. But currently, under the motion that was made a couple months ago, that is a process that we are going to do, unless directed otherwise. It was where we looked at last year is about a $400 worth of interest that was accrued on people that paid after the fact. And in the packet, I did provide the current outstanding list as of when the agenda went out. So we might have had payments since then. We had about 206 accounts left on it for a little under 200,000. Julie, do you know if we've received anything notable that has come in? Now that you're eating,
I
sorry.
think I think we're down to like 182 counts with like 177,000-ish left.
Okay. Most of those will most likely be caught up. We have only received one abatement request that we will talk about later tonight. So the process we're at now is we're still working with people. We always have the opportunity to work on any payment arrangements for people who are having issues. And whether or not, the only other thing that we're still bound by would be the town has an ordinance from the 90s that would put any payments we receive now back to past dates. So if someone has past taxes from a year previous, or if they were liened last year, anything would be going towards that. We're still pushing the abatement process. The only concern will be what we are having to do now is push out our 30-day notice date, and then our lien date will be pushed out up to 60 days beyond the end of the state of emergency that we're in currently. And that does pose an ongoing concern and difficulty when it comes to managing the tax collection that I know staff is concerned about, and we are as well, in keeping a lot of these things ironed out. But unless there is a change to that order, we would be looking to formalize this process as the council voted a couple months ago. I have checked with the auditor on the best process in which to post date or to move these payments. And we can work out processing that. We also do have the ability to collect any payments that are beyond the end of the fiscal year, June 30th, 60 days beyond the end of the fiscal year, we can post date them back to this fiscal year. So where we are currently, this fiscal year looks good. We're only about $2,000 short of anticipated revenues for the current fiscal year, and we have about 170,000 of uncollected property taxes because we did have unforeseen revenues and other revenues that did come in so far over.
Everyone happy with this? We'll move on to 8.1. This is new business. And we have a motion to approve the resignation of Nick.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
I'd just like to, yes, I'd like to make a comment, please.
Go ahead.
I just want to, for the record, thank him for his dedicated service to the town. And sorry that he decided to move on. But I just wanted for the record to thank him for his service.
I agree.
It looks like this is just informational though. Do we need to make a motion and such?
No, guess not.
You don't necessarily need to make a motion to accept it because his letter did state effective immediately. What we would probably want to do is lay out what the council's expectation is for the appointment of the replacement. Again, this came in too late for us to be able to circulate nomination papers to have someone run for this position. So we're in a situation where the council will decide the process to appoint a replacement to serve for an interim year until 2021's June election next year.
Zach, should we not go ahead and just follow the same procedure that we did on the previous two before that?
We can use this meeting to put out a call for requests for people who would be interested in filling that interim position. They would fill out the committee application that we currently have, and we can provide and we'll put out online. And then at whatever next meeting the council, whether or not it's the July meeting or the August meeting, that would be up to you on when you want to make that appointment.
I would like to do it at the August meeting to make sure that let us get through the election and all the stuff that needs to happen in July.
So if we want to, you can, direct me to do that and we will let people know right now.
Do you need a motion for that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, let's do it that way.
I make a motion that we open up applications to fill the vacancy until the 2021 election and for the appointment to take place at our meeting in August. Will that cover it?
Perfect.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Mr.
Any discussion? All in favor?
John Emery,
Yes.
Keith Bennett,
Yes.
Tarsha Downing,
Yes.
Rose Aikman.
Yes.
Thank you. Next up, 8.2 will be the Fraternal Order of Police contract and addendum for approval.
Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second that motion.
Any discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead.
This is the agreement that we've been looking at, is that correct?
Correct.
And the attorney went over this. I apologize, I haven't reread it or made comparisons. And I just need to know, was our attorney okay with this? That we would not assume any liability, that this is what we had anticipated or what we thought we were getting is what we're getting?
Yes, John, the town attorney has reviewed it twice at two different stages, once in the beginning and then once in the last memo that he drafted was sent to the council 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I just didn't pick up on that, sorry.
No, that would be
And he didn't have really any major concerns or changes in the contract that we would be liable for?
Not that I remember, but I would not speak for him. He is present. He wants to jump in.
This is for 3 years, correct?
Correct.
Joe, you worked with this. Are you feeling comfortable?
I'm feeling comfortable with the contract in that very much parallels their existing contract that they had before. I mean, there have been minor changes in it. And of course, you know, their salary situation to what they wanted it to be. We kind of went back and forth on that 2 or 3 times.
Correct.
They gave a little bit, we gave a little bit, and ended up with what we got. But yeah, I'm confident. I'm confident in it. I think we're going to be very thankful that we got the police force we got in the next year or two around here. The way things are.
Any
That
further
does it
com-
for, that
Yep,
does it
go
for me,
ahead.
Keith.
Okay, no more comments. All in favor?
John Emery,
Yes.
Keith Bennett,
Yes.
Tarsha Downing,
Yes.
Rose Aikman.
Yes.
Thank you. Next up is the approval of the municipal budget warrants as presented to go on the ballot for the July election.
I make a motion to accept the budget warrant articles as written.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
John Emery,
Yes.
Keith Bennett,
Yes.
Tarsha Downing, Tarsha, are you still with us? Hold on.
Hi, this is Tasha. I got kicked out
Okay, you're back though.
to log in on my phone instead. My iPad is very broken up. So give me a minute and I'll sign back in, but yes.
Okay, and Rose Aikman.
Yes.
Thank you. Next up, and Tarsha, definitely let us know if you need time, is the municipal bond question. So this is the request from voters to approve another $500,000 bond to do a road paving project that Public Works has been working on. We do this once every 5 years. We are looking to wean ourselves off from this borrowing process, but where we are now, we don't have the ability or the cash on hand to start doing some of these smaller paving projects.
I'll move that motion.
Second? Any discussion? All in favor?
John Emery,
Yes.
Keith Bennett,
Yes.
Tarsha Downing. Oh, she's coming back in. There she is. Tarsha, let me know when you get your microphone up and running.
Yes. Yes. I'm back. Yes. I'm back.
And Rose Aikman.
Yes.
Thank you. Next up is the RSU 16 warrant articles. Now, this is a work in progress. What we put in the packet was what we had was a previous approved. Let me pull it up for you so you all can see what I'm working with. Where's my folder go? So what we got today was updated. So the RSU is in a similar situation where they are still waiting for the governor and whoever they essentially are waiting for to make final decisions on how their budget process is going to iron out. So traditionally what would happen is they would do their district meetings where Julie would go to sign in Mechanic Falls residents to sit through the district meetings where they'd approve them there. And then we approve the wording that we have in front of us currently. So they've been waiting for changes to their process, because if they can't hold their district meeting because of the distancing issues, they have essentially provided us with a new warrant language. So let me pull both of those up. Which one first? This one. So this one will be when the share is up. So what they added on this bottom line from what we had last week is instead of the regional school unit budget meeting, it is board of directors meeting. And what we have to go with that will be, and wait for the rest of these to come up, because they won't get through their district meetings. They have to follow a warrant process that looks much more like ours. So we would be looking to approve these articles as well to our ballot in July for voters to vote on these separate articles. Council, these are in your iPad folders as well. And I apologize, we're still a little ahead of the game, but we got this afternoon. And they're waiting to formalize this process. They're hoping they'll have a final decision by June 8th, but where we are, the council needs to approve the language to go on the ballot so that Julie can get them printed tomorrow so that we'll be ready for absentee ballots. So what we would be looking for is an approval for both the itemized articles from the RSU as well as their formal question one.
One motion would take care of that?
Yes, we can conjoin those.
Okay. I'll make a motion to accept them. Have a second?
I second the motion.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor?
John Emery,
Yes.
Keith Bennett,
Yes.
Tarsha Downing,
Yes.
Rose Aikman,
No.
Next is 8.6 annual appointments. So these are the appointments that we make annually. So what we've been given is under the emergency order, the council will stay in their positions until we hold an election and any changes occur and someone is sworn into their place. But the annual appointments we make for town forester and everything else on that slate that is in your packet. I can pop this off and pull up that folder for you if you all want to look at it at the same time. There we go. And we can take this as a slate.
I'll move that question.
I'll second it.
Thank you, John.
Any discussion?
Question.
Yes.
On the general assistance, is it Rebecca Andrews?
Yes.
Is that somebody in town that handles that?
She is not in town. Rebecca is someone we've been working with since last year. And I believe she does general assistance processing for a couple of municipalities.
Okay. So it's a shared responsibility?
We have our stipend for what we pay her to do our work because it's a 24-hour on-call work, but it's not uncommon that one person will handle general assistance requests for multiple municipalities because it's kind of a specialized low labor if there's no requests. And if there are requests, then there's just a 24-hour response period she has to be available for.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? All in favor?
John Emery,
Yes.
Keith Bennett,
Yes.
Tarsha Downing,
Yes.
Rose Aikman.
Yes.
Thank you. Get back here. Eight point seven is removal of a planning board member. At the last planning board meeting, they voted to request the council to remove Jeremy Clark from the planning board for attendance. He has not made it to the last handful of meetings.
Can I have a motion?
Keith, I make that motion.
Thank you. I'll second it. Any discussion?
Is on removing somebody from the planning board, do we, what is the reason other than it's just because he's not attending the meetings? Is this something that the planning board could handle, or?
Within the process, the planning board has requested it, but it would be up to the council to remove someone for cause. They could appeal. And we have reached out on numerous occasions since last year, late 2019, to see if a person would resign, but it didn't come through. So this would allow us to open up the seat and look for more interested parties.
Zach, might I go ahead and read what the charter says about this?
Yes, sir.
Under page 9 of the charter, section 12, members of boards and commissioners, paragraph D, it states that members of various boards and commissions may be removed by the council, but only for good cause. Members are entitled to address and appeal said cause in a public hearing by notifying the town council within 5 days of notification of the council's removal. For good cause is kind of an open-ended thing, but if you follow back on proper procedure for removing a council member, you would have to go to page 2, section 2, under qualifications and vacancies, paragraph C1. Page 2 reads like this: a councilor shall forfeit their office if they are found by an affirmative vote of at least 3 councilors who lack at any time during their term of office any qualification for the office prescribed by the charter or by law, have violated any express prohibition of this charter, have been convicted of a felony of other crime or offense involving moral turpitude, or for having failed to attend 3 consecutive regular meetings of the council without being excused for due cause by the council. I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, it does, Joe. So what is the exact procedure that we need to follow?
So what we've done to date is have the planning board make the recommendation of the council. We will notify them and they will have an appeals process if they want to appeal their removal.
Okay, and this is stated in what Joe just said, correct?
Correct. And we do have a hand raised from a member of the planning board. If you would like me to unmute them and let them.
Go ahead.
This is Paula Stotts here. The other reason we've asked for his removal is that from what we're being told, he is no longer a resident of Mechanic Falls. He has been a resident at least for the last couple of months of the town of Minot. He lives where Oscar's farm is, and his father's in the process of turning that into a marijuana retail shop, and he's not allowed to live there under state and town ordinances. And also, in the ordinance book that we have for the town, it says that if a planning board member misses 3 meetings or more without an excuse, they are to be removed from the planning board. And
I
if
have a
you do-
question. Is he an alternate member or a full member?
Very good question, Tarsha. Currently, we have no designations of alternate or regular members, which is a concern that we've been ironing out. So we're looking at the most recent appointees becoming the alternates, which would make him not an alternate.
Someone is making a lot of noise and they're not muted, and it's disruptive for me.
Sorry, do you want me to say that again?
Yeah.
So what we've realized is we don't have designated alternates on the planning board, which is a concern. We need to iron that out. So we're erring on utilizing the most recent appointees to the planning board as alternates. And he is not one of the 2 most recent, so he'd be a sitting member.
So if we remove him, we still have a full board?
Yes, we will seek a new alternate to be seated, and we will still figure out the other alternate issue.
When is that? What is happening to address that alternate issue?
We're working with the planning board to get them on the same page that we would operate under. The kind of last appointed would become the alternate.
And also the way it currently stands with Jeremy on there, technically we have everything covered, both regular and alternate.
If there's no more discussion,
Just one last comment, Keith. I just want to make sure that we do it by the book.
well, if he's not a member, I mean, a citizen of the town of Mechanic Falls, he shouldn't be on the board anyway.
That's fine. I just want to make sure we
Yep,
follow
yep.
that process that needs
And-
to be followed.
yep. Yep. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
John Emery,
Yes.
Keith Bennett,
Yes.
Tarsha Downing,
Yes.
Rose Aikman.
Yes.
So next up is Halsey. Are you still here?
Yeah, I'm here.
We have our summer recreation budget. So as it falls under the recreation program, it is not part of the town budget. So what we do is we bring up the summer rec budget for the council to approve. So this is expected revenues and expenses for the summer recreation program. And let me just pull up his, today we found some changes we wanted to make sure we included, and there's still kind of a little bit of a conversation. Halsey, while I'm pulling this up, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Halsey Kopp. I'm the director over at for you guys for the summer rec. I was there last year. We ran it, me and my assistant Jenna. It was a success. It was obviously a little bit different last year. We were looking for a little more input from you guys, and other than that, that's all I really have. We just reached out, and in that budget, I mentioned that we didn't know about food. I did talk to Ellen Dorr, the lady who runs the RSU 16 lunch program and breakfast program that provides us with food, both breakfast and lunch, and they're having a budget meeting this week, and she'll know whether that's going to be provided or not. She believes that it will be like it was last year, but again, we won't know until later this week.
So different from what is in your packet is we've actually reduced a couple of lines. Expenses gone down to actually one counselor, you said, Halsey?
Yeah, we're looking for one counselor to come from 9 to 3-ish each day. So 5 days a week, 6 hours a day. So that's 30 hours. We might split that between 2 counselors, depending on what we got, paying them $12 an hour, which is minimum wage. With me and Jenna both being there 8 hours a day, and one of us closing and one of us opening for 2 hours alone, with that counselor being there, they could help us out not only with the kids, but with what's going on with the pandemic. We obviously have to look out for just being cleansely, and making sure everything is sanitized and whatnot. So a lot of their job would just be going around and cleaning while we're dealing with the kids. So we were thinking at least one on with us for 6 hours a day. Other than that, me and her can handle it together.
So Jenna is coming back, Halsey?
She is. She's where I talked her back into it, basically, because to be honest, I need her around. She's so good. She's good with the kids, and it would be hard to replace her. It would take at least a couple counselors there to replace me or her at a time. So it's easier for us just to do it together. I also work with Jenna at RSU 16. And we have a good working relationship together there. So that obviously helps us out on getting it done over there at Mechanic Falls.
Great. I'm glad to hear that.
Great.
Granted, so we have, Halsey, do you have an idea offhand on where we are for enrollment?
Yeah, I have about 15 right now that I know are coming for sure. I'm assuming in the next 3 weeks, we're going to get it up around 20 or so. When we did the budget, I put 20 because last year we were between 15 and 25 each day. So you never knew, it was never a solid number because we have the option of coming daily. So if they're coming only three days a week, then obviously that skews the numbers. So until we have those concrete numbers, we just put 20 in, and we're hoping to have more, but we figured that was a safe number to go with.
Question,
Go ahead.
what's the time period? When does the program start and when does it end?
Yeah, we're looking to open June 22nd. See, with the governor and all the rules that just came out on May 20th, it allows us to open up in June. A lot of camps are waiting that are over 50 members to open up in July, but whereas we're down with only 20, 25 kids, where we can go ahead and open in June. With that said, we are going to have the parents sign a waiver that says, like, hey, if your kid contracts COVID-19 while with us here, that's not on us. Zach was talking to me about how that's already covered, elsewhere, but I want to make sure that's known that we're going to make the parents not only be self-screening at home and we'll take temperatures at the door, but we're not going to require them to wear masks and we're not going to require them to social distance. We'll, teach them about trying to social distance when we're not doing activities together and having the option of wearing masks but not requiring it and signing that waiver, because we feel that with the masks and the social distancing, we're taking away what summer camp really is. But we obviously realize how important it is to open the summer camp with the parents going back to work and having an option for some sort of daycare for these kids.
When does it close?
I think it's August 23rd.
Okay.
22nd, a Friday. It's right there.
Okay, thank you.
We have, because we're in a different situation now, we're still looking to gather materials for them, sanitizers, masks, gloves, anything that we can kind of scrape from our other operations to make sure that they've got, at least enough to get through, and help them out with, what we can provide when we can. So we would be looking for a motion to approve the summer rec camp budget so that Lisa and I can process payments out of that.
I make that motion, Zach.
I second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
John Emery,
Yes.
Keith Bennett,
Yes.
Marcia Downing,
Yes.
Rose Aikman.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Halsey.
You're very welcome. Thank you, guys.
Next is Recreation Summer Program. Justin, are you on here? Let me,
I am.
there you are. All right, what does T-ball look like this year?
T-ball. T-ball is there's a lot going on with T-ball this year.
So currently we're in, if you can kind of catch us all up real quick, because I believe we play with mine at Mechanic Falls and they're taking different approaches.
So I reached out asking for guidance and direction from the council on what we should do, or what the committee should consider doing, having shown and provided examples from Poland and Minot. Also giving the recommendations from the state of Maine and what they are suggesting happens. So I thank the council for the considering it, and Keith, pointed me back to the town manager, Uzak, on what we should do and how we should proceed. You said that it was go with the recommendation of the committee. So the committee conferred and came up with a plan to move forward and provide programming for the players and community members to continue business as usual.
We're gonna have a modified schedule given, because you will not be playing Poland teams. We'll just.
Yep. So we'll be participating in 2, potentially 3 different levels: major softball, minors baseball, and an outside chance at majors baseball as well. But for sure, moving forward with major softball and minors baseball. The modified schedule won't impact those levels very much. In fact, we anticipate, provided direction from the league that we'll have a 15 to 17 game schedule over the next 8 weeks.
Question?
Go ahead.
Justin, do you have any, what's the age group? Do you have any like Little League groups? Or is it just adults? I did overhear on the news the other day that they would have to provide their own bats. They could not share helmets. They cannot share gloves. They cannot sit on the bench. Is that something that you're looking at or have to adhere by?
So there's multiple levels to that, to answer that. So the first is that the committee recommended opening the use of facilities for all organized activities. So that can be used by league affiliations for Cal Ripken, which is, I think, what you're referring to for Little League. Also, that opens up the fields and uses for things from Halsey and the summer rec program. It also allows the adult softball program to convene, and anybody else that calls the town office and requests field usage. They've got to continue to fill out a form, and there may be a fee associated with that, and that's evaluated on a case-by-case basis. As far as recommendations and the age levels, we will be offering a T-ball program, and that'll be, we'll be actually participating with Minot on that as we do each year. There will be 3 teams, I believe, from Mechanic Falls and 2 or 3 from Minot. The next level up, the rookies, which is 6 to 8, 9 years old. There's no league offering for that. We'll be providing an instructional opportunity for that level, for that age level on both the baseball and the softball side. We'll also be providing an instructional opportunity for the softball at the next level up, which is somewhere 9 to 11, 12. And then, as I mentioned, we'll be participating in the league. As far as, what you saw on TV and what some of the leagues are asking, they're following the state recommendations that I gave to you guys last week, and as are we. But that said, it is going to be the task of the parent to keep their child safe. We're not going to be providing any bacteria solution or wiping anything down in that respect. We provide as many pieces of equipment as possible for family with needs or that need additional equipment, and it will be the parents' task to actually keep their child safe. So we'll be following those guidelines, but I'm not going to put anything in writing.
No.
Any more onus on the volunteer.
I understand that it's difficult with kids. Will they be sharing helmets and?
Typically at no level, fortunately helmets and equipment is inexpensive enough that most families have their own equipment. And so the need to share helmets is very, very limited. And if that becomes an issue, then we'll assign a helmet to that particular player for the duration of the season, and they'll be responsible for that.
Thank you, Justin.
Are there any further questions by anyone for Justin? Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
At ordinances and resolves, 9.1 would be next. What I'd like to do is introduce the next 4 mobile vendor permits. So with the governor's most recent kind of push to get people outdoors, working with our CEO to find the most effective and quickest way to get our restaurants up and running again for something a little bit more than just takeout food. And what we've come up with as the quickest possible opportunity to allow for some temporary outdoor seating for some of the restaurants we do have in town is our mobile vendors permit. So we have actually reached out to all of the on-site premises in town, and we've gathered 4 applications in front of us. Little Brick Pub, Exceptional, Kathy's, and Millhouse have submitted applications for some limited outdoor seating under the governor's urging to find new and unique ways to allow on a temporary basis, at least for some of these businesses to get some form of revenue. And with these applications, would be looking for an approval, and there's been a request, and I would honor the request to waive the $50 application fee for these applicants, so that we can get them up and running at least a little bit more so than they are currently.
So moved.
I second that.
Any further discussion?
Could you just give me a list of those? I have the Little Brick Pub and there's Excedra and there's Kathy's Diner. Was there another one?
Yep, in the Millhouse Pub.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
John Emery,
Yes.
Keith Bennett,
Yes.
Marcia Downing,
Yes.
Rose Aikman.
Yes.
Thank you. We will let them know immediately. Next, we would be looking for approval of the office closure June 30th at noon. June 30 is our last day of business for the fiscal year. So we cannot conduct transaction while we're closing out and doing our final year-end financial reports. So we traditionally close for a half day on the last business day of the year to allow us to do that.
Do you need a motion on that?
Yeah.
If you do, so moved.
Chris?
I second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
John Emery,
Yes.
Keith Bennett,
Yes.
Marcia Downing,
Yes.
Rose Aikman.
Yes.
Thank you. Next would be the office closure for July 4th. And part of what I would like to do when we get into the beginning of the next fiscal year, we work out the plans with the council. We know most of these dates ahead of time for our office closures that I would like to at some point work up a year, a slate of known closures for the year so that we can do this once a year instead of doing this every month. But we would need the closure of the office for July 4th.
I make a motion to allow the office to be closed on July 4th.
Thank you, Tarsha.
Second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
John Emery,
Yes.
Keith Bennett,
Yes.
Marcia Downing,
Yes.
Rose Aikman.
Yes.
Thank you. Next are the carryover proposed changes to the FOAA policy. I know that we have asked to table and keep moving these until we meet in person or until we get through the state of emergency because we are operating under different set of rules currently anyway.
I make a motion to table.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none.
John Emery,
All in favor?
Yes.
Keith Bennett,
Yes.
Marcia Downing,
Yes.
Rose Aikman.
Yes.
I would like to suspend the Robert's rules and move up the executive session.
I second that.
Any discussion?
Would this be, which one would this be, legal or abatement?
Let's do the legal first.
Yes, sir. So we have a motion and a second. We need to vote on suspending the rules.
Any discussion? All in favor?
John Emery,
Yes.
Keith Bennett,
Yes.
Marcia Downing,
Yes.
Rose Aikman. You are muted, Rose.
Sorry. Yes.
Thank you. We would entertain a motion to enter executive session, and I would just need to know who to dispatch into that session.
Oh, there will be the full counselors and Jack Conway and Jonathan Brogan.
Is Mr. Brogan in the room?
Gosh.
I don't see him, but I will dispatch everyone that I do see. So do we have a motion to enter Title I MRSA Section 405 6E?
I make that motion, Zach.
Thank you, John.
I second it. Any discuss? All in favor?
John Emery,
Yes.
Keith Bennett,
Yes.
Tarsha Downing,
Yes.
Rose Aikman.
Yes.
So let me get you all dispatched here real quick.
Is Jack Conway on?
Yeah, I'm here, Keith.
Jonathan Brogan? Well, I don't know what happened to him, but does anyone have any question? You are familiar with the agreement.
Let me
Correct.
get you guys into the room. So I'm going to hit this button and you will go into that room real quick. 1,
All
2,
right.
3, 4, 5. I want to make sure
What
I
the
don't
hell's
miss
going
anybody.
on here?
Open all rooms.
The host is
You should all
inviting you.
Get that button and that will get you right into that room.
Hey, Julie. It's Justin Starboard.
Yes.
Hey, how long do you think they'll be? Because I had one more question. We left it relatively unclear after the discussion for 8.9. Do you know how long? Do you know how long they'll be?
I'm not sure. Sometimes it's quick, sometimes it's a half an hour. What's the question?
Well, so we didn't make. I mean, there was a discussion, right? I gave what we're doing, but I want to make sure that it is clear that as we move forward, we have the council and the town's blessing to make decisions in real time and make sure that there's recommendations and requirements change, that we have that completely under control and the ability to handle that.
I think so, because when Zach was talking, he said something about letting the rec committee make their own decisions and leaving it up to you. And I noticed on the agenda, it only says discussion and there was no motion to approve anything. So I'm assuming they're going to say, go ahead and do what you guys need to do if you're going to be following.
I would like to speak up here if I could.
Yeah, of course.
Anybody hear me?
We can hear you.
Yes, Steve.
Okay. Jack Conway didn't get into the executive session.
He is on there. He's got a green dot that says he's in that room.
Well, is there any way you can check to find out if he's muted or what? Because nobody could talk to him. I couldn't see him at all. Joe saw him, but couldn't speak to him.
Okay, let me see if I can reach out to him and get him to rejoin. It still looks like he's in there, but I will.
Okay, well, I need to go back if you.
Hey, Keith, a quick question for you before you go.
Okay.
This is Justin Starboard. So I appreciate the opportunity for a discussion earlier. I just want to make sure that, we have I don't need a vote necessarily, but the okay from the council that, that the decisions that we make for the town, recreation programs are supported by the council going forward through the summer as recommendations change and other things come up, that we have your faith and authority behind us.
Okay, I'm sure we will bring that up when we get out of the executive session and take care of that. Okay?
All right, thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Can I be dispatched to my room?
Yes. Do you have the button on the bottom that will take you back to the room?
On the bottom? No, all I see is a sign of the town of Mechanic Falls down in the bottom corner.
It says you are still in there. If you leave the room and come back in, I can redispatch you.
Anybody there?
I'm back.
Okay. Zach, are you around here anywhere? Hello? Hello, hello? Oh, jeez.
He's muted.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I see you, Rose.
Okay.
Hello,
I don't
Keith.
see anybody else.
Hello, Keith.
Yeah.
I just got off the phone. Jack is there. I walked him through how to use the phone option, so he is going to call back in so that he can hear you. He could hear you, but you couldn't hear him. His computer is not allowing his microphone, I guess.
Hey, Zach, before you jumped over there, this is Justin Servard. I had one question for Keith, and I was just hopeful to get clarity on one thing. And we had the discussion, and I appreciate that. And then, I just want to make sure that I have the rec committee has the support of the council as recommendations and suggestions change, to continue to make the decisions in real time, as opposed to, how we did previously and had to wait 11 days for a final answer on things. So I just want to make sure I have the clarity and confidence of the council to be able to make decisions if and when, recommendations and things change, or, should something come up, that you have the faith in the committee to handle any adversity that comes our way. How do I, I don't necessarily need that in a vote, but like some, suggestion of confidence, something where I can, make sure that if somebody comes to the town office and is really upset about something, or we had a cell phone cop, see something that, may have been an anomaly, and, it is taken care of, that we don't have decisions made without, full judgment or information on hand.
Okay, look, the other council members, are you?
Hey, Keith.
Yes.
Keith, can you hear me?
Yeah.
This is Jack.
Okay,
Yeah.
Jack's audio is working. We are not in executive session right now, though, so hold on. Keith, you were saying?
Do the rest of the council feel like giving him a vote of confidence?
Keith, I'm not sure you're in executive session right now. Hang on.
Well, I'm talking about this whole thing is just a nightmare. We've been trying to get
Keith,
you into the meeting, and now we've been interrupted with Justin is trying to find out if the council is going to stand behind him, if he's going to run the rec. So, could you just?
What's your take, Jack?
Are we in executive session now?
No.
No, we're out. We came out of executive session because we could not hear you. But now that we're out of executive session, the Recreation Committee Chair would like to know if the council can give him a vote of confidence so he can make decisions as to how to run the rec here on out, with everything being so fluid.
Okay, listen, how do you fellow members feel, as long as he follows the state regulations as closely as he can with a rec, giving him a vote of confidence?
Well, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Was this on your agenda?
What's that?
Yes, it was
on your
8.9.
agenda?
Yes, it was number 8.9. But before we moved on, I had another question, and we moved on to the next agenda item. So I just am asking for clarification on that point, and they requested your input.
No, well, since you're here, Jack, is there any legal ramifications if we give him a vote of confidence, or He's already under our insurance, so how does this affect us?
I guess I'm not sure what you mean by a vote of confidence. If you mean that you're going to delegate authorities to him, they would have to be authorities that the rec director would have. So,
Okay.
I mean, you can't just say, okay, you can do this. It's, it's something that the council has to do. So I don't know exactly what it is that a vote of confidence means.
Listen, what we want to do is tell Justin that the council is going to stand behind him as long as he follows the rules, his rules, bylaws for the rec committee. Is that legal?
I'm getting back into your meeting. So if you would just repeat that. I'm sorry. I was trying to get back into the regular main meeting. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Now, as long as did you hear my question to you?
What, could you repeat it again? Because I was in the middle of trying to get back. I was still in the breakout room and I wasn't in your meeting, so.
Oh, I love this.
Sorry.
We are going to tell Justin that the council will support him in his job as rec committee chairman.
Well, yeah, I don't know why you can't do that. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, he is the rec committee chairman, isn't he?
He is.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I don't know if there's any problem with the council saying that they support him. Yeah.
All right.
You can do that.
All right. Now, fellow members of the council, I'm making a motion that we support Justin as rec committee chairman. And as long as he follows the bylaws of his organization. Do I have a second? What the hell is everybody? Oh, jeez.
Hey, you hear
Did
me?
you lose everyone? Oh,
you hear
there's
me,
John. Yeah.
I second that, Keith.
Okay. All in favor?
Don Emery,
Yes.
Keith Bennett,
Yes.
Tarsha Downing,
Yes.
Rose Aikman.
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to the breakout room.
Thank you for that clarification. I appreciate it.
Okay. You're welcome.
Let me redispatch everybody real quick.
Can you guys hear me on the TV, on the computer now?
I hear you good.
I can hear you right now.
Hold on, you
But
guys.
I'm going to join the breakout room and I don't know whether you're going with me.
I'm back.
I'm back.
It's two of us. Everybody's got to unmute themselves.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Okay, we're golden.
All right, now we're back in the open meeting, right?
Yeah,
Right.
hopefully Zach's here.
I'm here.
Okay, so, let's see, 9.5, the proposal for the resolution, have a motion to table.
Motion to table
Indefinitely.
indefinitely.
I second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Don Emery,
Yes.
Keith Bennett,
Yes.
Marcia Downing,
Yes.
Rose Aikman,
Yes.
And could I have a motion to do the same with 9.6?
I
So
make that
moved.
motion. I make that motion, Keith.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Or
Don
let's have a
Emery,
vote.
Yes.
Keith Bennett,
Yes.
Marcia Downing,
Yes.
Rose Aikman,
Yes.
Okay. Now we have to go into the executive session, 10.1.
I make that motion. We go into executive session for abatement request.
I second it.
All in favor?
Don Emery,
Yes.
Keith Bennett,
Yes.
Marcia Downing,
Yes.
Aikman.
Yes.
And if you give me a minute, I will get us dispatched. Julie, can you come with us?
Oh, gotta go into executive session.
Hello?
We're here. They're just in executive session.
Hello, is there anyone there?
I'm here. They're in executive session. Jack, can you mute your microphone, please?
What's that?
Jack, you probably need to mute your microphone. We're getting feedback.
Hey, Alan,
Yeah.
that Conway is the town attorney who I'm pretty sure is supposed to be in that executive session.
Right. I don't know why he's out here.
He didn't get back in. Jack didn't. He was on the first one, but he didn't get into the second one.
It didn't
And
show
Zach
up.
is on and-
Can you hear me?
Yep,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
Yeah, it didn't give me the box to get into the breakout room.
Oh, geez.
I can see Tarsha.
You were not needed in that one, but
Okay, well. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Jack.
Oh, good, okay.
and all that was something that I can't get into that room while I'm recording and broadcasting. So I was trying to go in on my phone and that wasn't going to let me in. I've already got 2 signed in on the same account. So what we can do is we've got some more work to do for that request as well. And we can table that if you'd like and bring it up next meeting.
That'd be great.
Okay. Now, the other thing, Zach, is that Rose brought up about the Anglican Church. That's not on the agenda.
Nope, I was not expecting to have that turned around
Okay.
as quick as it was from Jack. So that is set.
That's what, Zach?
It'll be on next month's agenda.
Okay.
Can I
Okay,
get
so
a-
we table this request for abatement until next month.
Yep, we'll have more information.
Now, do you want to vote on that?
Nope, we can just move on to motion to adjourn.
I make that motion, Zach, to adjourn.
8:27.
Second.
Thank you, Rose.
All in favor?
John Emery,
Adjourn, yes.
Keith Bennett,
Yes.
Portia Downing,
Yes.
Rose Aikman.
Yes.
Awesome, perfect. We are adjourned and
And-
thank you all.
And I propose that we don't have another meeting until we can meet all as one group.
We will
Is that
get
a motion, Keith?
hybrid system set up.
I'm afraid it's too late for a motion.
I agree.
Good night, all.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Thank you, Jack.